Welcome back to the channel. This is Roberto Full Curl Precision again. Just wanted to demonstrate how I learned how to add bullets into GRT. For those who are learning and trying to get into this, it's not always easy to figure everything off the bat, but this is actually a very fun program with a computer. It doesn't work on your tablet or it doesn't work on your smartphone or anything like that. It has to be done on a computer or a tablet, I believe. So one thing I have found to be very helpful is be able to ask others. And so I did that. I'm learning how to do that. This doesn't zoom in very well, but I'm going to pull this back. So right here, that's your bullet section right there. So this little box right in here. And then so if you click on it, it pulls up this page. Right up in this side right here, you'll see file. Click file and it comes down, it says new. When you hit that, it brings up another window. So new. Now I get to add a bullet that's not in here in the normal database. And for this, I'm going to be adding this guy. This is a Nosler ballistic tip 170 grain. So I'm going to type that in. So manufacturer is Nosler. And it's a ballistic tip. So Nosler ballistic tip. So it gives you manufacturer, and then it says product name right below that. And then you have the option to put in the date of when you inserted the information. I like to do that so that there's kind of a track record of what's being added. So today is the 17th of February. So 02 17 2026. Caliber. So caliber diameter. And here's my calipers. And by the way, these calipers are by Kineup. They're nothing fancy. I got these off of Amazon for like $40. They're not that expensive. So you don't need ultra expensive ones. Starrett makes phenomenal calipers and measuring tools. But, you know, if you're like me, you're trying to do things on a budget, don't worry so much about getting really expensive. I mean, heck, you can get some basic Harbor Freight ones. But here's the thing. I actually prefer these. They're a lot more accurate. So, you know, if you're doing just rough estimates, the ones from Harbor Freight aren't terrible, but these are way better. Because you have your whole number here on the end, so 0.0, so that's tenths, then hundredths, and then thousands and 10,000. So it makes sense to have a set of calipers like this. So when you measure, obviously you have this, and then you have right there. That gives you, measure that one more time, 0.2750. I'll do it one more time. 0.2755. So that's the actual diameter, but for the bore reference, the first time it's asking for the bore reference, which is a 0.277. And then your actual projectile diameter is going to, in this case, it's going to be 2755. Now, here's the thing. Because of this program, the way it is, it's going to round up that 10,000s up to the closest thousands. So it's going to say 276. So just go ahead and put in 276. It's close enough. Okay. Right below that, you have projectile mass, so the weight of the bullet. In this case, this particular one is 170 grains. So put that in. And then you have the projectile length. So that's the actual from the base of the bullet up to the very tip. And this particular one, I'm getting 1.4795. 1.4795. So I'll put that in. 1.4795. And so if you're looking at the very bottom of it, you see that little bit? That's called the boat tail. So there's different types. So you got flat bottom and you got boat tails. And so in this case, you have the option that says tail type. And so instead of a hollow, you have three options. You got hollow base, flat, and then you have boat tail. Mine's a boat tail. So then it asks you things like, the length of the boat tail and different widths. So the length of it, since I don't have this exact, I'm kind of getting a general estimate here. And so you kind of line it up, the calipers, as close to the edge of it as you can, and you kind of just get an eyeball estimate. And so I'm coming up with about 0. We'll go with, hold on. Do this down here where I get a little bit more stability. We're going to go with 0.093. Oh, there we go. That's wrong. Okay. And it gives you the next options of diameter A and diameter B. When it's asking for the diameter A, it's talking about where it actually meets up with the body. So diameter A would be where the boat tail starts to taper down. And so that is going to be right there. Is going to be the same thing. You're going to have 2756. And then diameter B being the very bottom of that boat tail. I'm getting 0.254. Now this one I'm not going to worry about the max seating depth on it. I'm going to be kind of playing with that a little bit more. I'll enter that a little bit later. But I'm going to leave that one alone. The next option is what they call construction material. So it brings up this page, and this gives them an idea, or gives whoever's using it an idea of the actual construction of the bullet, what it's going to be used for. So it just gives it different categories. So for this, it's going to be hunting. It's a ballistic tip. It's a boat tail. And that's, before I go further with this, you have like application, tip, tail, jacket, core, the bonding, target ballistic, ogive, jacket features, and core features. So you have these different, basically you're creating like a code for it. It's kind of an interesting setup. But what it's going to do is allow you to add different bullets into this database that are not in there, because every year new ones are coming out. So it allows you to be able to do this. And it's kind of simple. So the jacket is going to be a copper jacket. Core is going to be lead. Bonding, none, because it's a cup and core. Bonding, I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's not going to be anything else. Target ballistics expansion is for that. Ogive is pointed. Jacket features, so straight. So when they ask for the jacket features, they're talking about along the side here. So you see that like there's no variation. It's just straight. And then core features, multi-core. So this is not just simply just lead. There's like other materials in here as well, like antimony. There's nothing, but it's still basic for the most part. A fairly basic lead core bullet. So I just put multi-core, and yeah, there it is. So then I hit OK down at the bottom. And then it asks for the BC. So let me see if I can find some information either on the box. Doesn't seem to be supplying it. So what I'm going to do is pull up web browser. Okay. And I'm going to put in G1BC of Nosler 170 grain ballistic tip. Enter. Let's try this. G1 of And according to this, the G1 is a .560. So I go back here. .560. Okay, enter. And then I'm going to go back here again. And I'm going to do G7. See what I can come up with here. Well, I don't seem to be coming up with much for that. So what I'm going to do is leave that off for now. Pull this back up. And I'm going to say create new. Apply load data. And then save. And now I have the Nosler Ballistic Tip 170 grain bullet in here. So while it's not always necessarily perfect, there's always plenty of research that has to be done. It is worthwhile because then you can start adding. I've been able to add, just in what I've been able to do here, I have my own user database here. So I have the Federal 136 Terminal Ascents, because that wasn't in there. I have now 2 for Nosler, which is the 165 grain Nosler AccuBond Long Range and the 170 grain Ballistic Tip. And then I have 2 more for Sierra, which is the 140 grain TGK, also known as the Game Changer, and the 175 grain TGK, also known as the Game Changer. So now I've been able to add 5 more projectiles to my database, and now I can do more accurate type expectations of what I can get out of this program. So I appreciate all of your support. That's all I have for tonight. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. If there's something you'd like to be able to, if there's something you'd like me to add into there to be able to share data, I'm happy to do so. There's others I'm going to add into here. The gunsmith that I have my rifle with right now, he actually has some 180 grain woodlays. He has a couple boxes of those. So I talked to him. I'm probably going to purchase a box from him and measure them. And this way, there's kind of an idea. I'm using a much more broad style of, by necking out as far as I am, I'm going to be able to shoot standard 130 grains all up to like 180 grain bullet out of a 27 caliber. So it's going to definitely widen the variety. So I appreciate it. I thank you all for your support, and we'll talk to you again.